What's up, everyone? Jack from Half Chrome. I've got something interesting. This is the Eachine E013 Plus. This is an all-in-one ducted flyer that comes with a camera, goggles, remote, and even if you want some race gates. Now, it starts with goggles for under $100, about 85 bucks. That's a pretty solid deal. Or is it? Let's take a closer look. Alright, so let's talk about this guy. This is the Eachine E013 Plus. As you can see, it is a ducted flyer. It's about 75 millimeters from prop to prop. These are 40-inch millimeter props, which I do like. Things about this thing that are pretty awesome, right? One, there are 3 different flight modes. You can fly it in altitude hold, right, where it'll moderate the up and down movements. That's very similar to one of my favorite quads, this guy, the M80, the Eachine M80, right? And like the Eachine M80, you have also angle mode, where it will kind of self-level, and you have the ability to fly this guy in full-out acro mode. So that is super cool. Another thing that's awesome is that if you crash upside down, you can push a button and it'll flip over, right? That's called turtle mode. Like the M80, this guy also had turtle mode. That's unique, right? There are very few brushed motor quads, and this is a brushed motor quad, as you can see there, that actually do that. Now, these are 85/20 brushed motors, which means it's got plenty of power, which is awesome. I really like that. You like the power coming out of brushed motors. Is it going to compete with, say, something like this, a brushless Mobula 7? No, that's that's ridiculous. But even something like this here, my Tiny Hawk brushed motors, where it is a 1S quad, this is still a lot more powerful. And actually, even though this is a little bit more expensive, this Tiny Hawk is probably what I would recommend for beginners that want to fly FPV. Now, you can get the drone, the goggles, and the remote of the Tiny Hawk for about 165 bucks. This drone, remote, and goggles is only going to cost you about 85. Now, that is significantly less and one of the cheapest ways to get into the hobby. What does that really include? Well, this here is my remote. If I want to fly with a screen, I can put it here. These are my gimbals. They're pretty toy grade, but we do have some buttons on the top. Right here, my modes button is how I switch from altitude hold mode, 1 beep, angle mode, 2 beeps, and acro mode, 3 beeps. Now, it's really pretty hard to fly in acro mode, I think, because of this camera angle. You can see there's just no tilt, right? So you got to fly pretty straight, and as you angle it, that camera's going to be pointing at the ground. Over here, this R button is basically your arming switch, right? It'll get the motor spinning, it'll take it up in the air, it'll turn your motors off. And if you're upside down, it's also how you flip over in turtle mode, right? Again, that is an awesome feature. Another thing that's nice is the ability to change channels with this button here, and the ability to change band. And what am I talking about? I'm talking about the frequencies that you're going to see on your goggles. Now, these are the Eachine VR006s that you can get with it. Now, they're pretty basic box goggles. You can scan to find your signal here, change it, and then you have some adjustments on the side, but it's a 3-inch screen. Are these the best? No, but for 30 bucks, this really is a pretty good set of beginner goggles, right? So you got to keep that in mind. Now, let's talk about why I don't like this drone. It all comes back to this camera. Now, the camera itself is actually pretty nice, pretty solid resolution, but as you can see, there's no angle tilt and no ability really for me to tilt that angle. Right? The other thing that I don't like about it is its placement. It's up front and center. Now, that's nice because I won't see the props, and I'm guessing that's why they did it. But it does throw off the center of gravity, which makes this really kind of tricky to fly. I don't know, maybe it's because I'm used to flying more precise brushless quads than this brush motor drone, and I don't have super precision with this remote, although it's not terrible. You know, I just found it not to be as precise. It couldn't handle wind, right? So it's not ideal, but right, for 85 bucks, what do you expect? Now, if I took the camera here and mounted it in the middle, I had to have a better center of gravity, and it actually probably would perform better. So, you know, that is something to consider. Now, these batteries, I would have preferred a standard JST plug rather than the low C that you get here. But you can get packages where you get 1, 2, or 3 batteries. Definitely pick up 3, right? You're going to want to fly this as much as you can. So, would I recommend this? I'd actually probably, if you can still find this Eachine M80, it just tends to be a better drone. It's a little bit more solid, right? I don't have that super flexion on this thing. I can actually bind this. I can get a version to bind with a better remote, like something this. This is the FR Sky X Lite, which I really like. Definitely a lot more precise than that toy grade remote. Although you can get this thing with the toy grade remote, actually I think it's a little bit better. This performs a lot more like something like this, right? This is still king, right? This would be second place, and then I'd call this a distant third. So this is actually not the original E013. It was a red shell, but looks basically just like this, performs just like this. So it is a totally different kind of quad. 75 versus 65. It's a lot bigger motors. So they did a lot of things right, except for this darn camera being in the front and kind of throwing off the weight. Plus this really flexy frame, right? Not going to be super precise when you're cranking. You're going to get some of that flexion, and I'm not a big fan. So would I recommend this guy? I don't know. It's hard to say. It's a great deal for 85 bucks. Yes, but I really think you want to save and spend a little bit more and get something that's a little bit more capable. Hey, thanks for watching. Hopefully you check us out on halfchrome.com, and if you like the video, hey, go ahead and click that subscribe button. That's how we keep making these things. Have a great day. Happy flying.